Hi, today we are going to talk about chapter 10, which is management from Islamic perspective. Well, we all know that Islam is a complete way of life and Allah's guidance extends into all areas of our life. It aims to establish a just society wherein everyone behaves responsibly and honestly. It allows people to become aware of the parameters of human behavior as individuals of societies for the sake of living in harmony and happiness in this transitory world and the hereafter. Well, back to the main topic. What is management? Management is the ability to utilize human capital and material resources optimally to achieve the desired goal. Islamic management perspective is practical and has been used ever since the era of Prophet Muhammad. It gives us a detailed regulation on how to go about our economic lifestyle, which is both balanced and fair. This type of management follows the teaching of Islam by Prophet Muhammad directly, which is generated from Al-Quran and As-Sunnah.
Here are the principles of Islamic management. If the organization apply management according to Islamic, so these are the principles that they have to apply. Firstly, Islamic principles teach us that time is to be well invested, not to be wasted. It requires us to use the time efficiently by being punctual, diligently doing work tasks, never playing around, not procrastinating, and engaging in meaningful conversation. As a Muslim, we can't waste our time, so always make sure that we spend our time wisely. The second one is uphold and internalize the Islamic ethical values. Islam teaches Muslims to cultivate, uphold, and practice Islamic ethical values of truthfulness, contentment, honesty, dedication, self-restraint, self-discipline, compassion, patience, and fear of Allah. Next, should be no favoritism, bias, and discrimination. Leaders must be fair to all employees because every employee plays an important role in an organization's success. We cannot apply favoritism, bias, and discrimination inside the organization. Even though we have different race and different religions, we still cannot bias towards each other, especially discrimination based on family ties, self-interest, or personal beliefs should be avoided. Besides that, employees must be paid fairly and equally. A leader should treat employees appropriately and individually based on circumstances and contribution. Of course, as a leader should pay all the employees fairly and equally according to their work, qualification, and experience. Other than that, we have to practice Ashura. Ashura is consultation based on mutual discussion and cooperation among members. Frequent exchange of views and mutual consultations among leaders and employees lead to better decision making. Furthermore, the moral religious value of work should be integrated in the work. Working is not merely a means for material gains, but also a moral obligation and a measure of pleasing Allah and getting nearer to Him. When we make intention for the sake of Allah, even our daily activities like works can become ibadah. Anything we do in this life is supposed to be only to worship Allah. Next, we also should be conducive rewards for exceptional achievement to prevent violations. Exemplary and exceptionally successful employees should be rewarded accordingly, while violation, indiscipline, misbehavior, or poor performance will not be tolerable and disciplinary measures will be taken. Of course, if the employee achieves the objective, the employee will be rewarded, but if otherwise, action should be taken. Besides that, human nature and needs should be both considered simultaneously. As a leader need to provide a conducive and healthy working environment in the workplace. For example, working hours must be reasonable, and salary must be fair with employees' qualifications and contributions. Other than that, self-criticism should be exercised. Each employee at all levels should review their work periodically and analyze their actions and attitudes. They could investigate how tasks can be efficiently improved. And the last one, integrate both short-term world goals and long-term hereafter goals. Islam believes that humans' action and endeavors must integrate both short-term and long-term. Muslims are taught to be balanced in pursuing both goals, as one cannot be too obsessed to achieve long-term goals and forget about the short-term goals, or vice versa.
My part is characteristic of Islamic leader. So basically, leadership is the action of leading organization by motivating their subordinates. Right here we have 4 characteristics of Islamic leader that influence the organization to achieve its goal. Number 1, a leader must allegiance to Allah, which has strong true faith and belief in existence of Allah. Iman comprises a strong leadership in everyone's behavior. So here's some tips how to enhance Iman back. We could read Al-Quran, believe in Allah's mercy by looking His beautiful nature, and of course we could pray to Him. Number 2, a leader must has comprehensive goal. For example, Malaysia National Fatwa Council issued fatwa against smoking as haram because its detrimental health effect. As we know, Islam is very emphasis about health condition, right? So the decision has made by wider Islamic objective and not group or individual interest. Next, a leader must adhere to Sharia principle. In other words, Sharia is a law or rules that has set in particular situation. Al-Quran and As-Sunnah is a main reference for Muslim guidance such as fasting, praying, and marrying. Sharia aims to attainment of welfare and benefits to everyone. And last, a leader delegates trust. It doesn't matter of privilege or position, a leader needs to carry out duties with the highest degree of responsibility. The leader must avoid corruption such as bribery, extortion, and bias in organization. All in all, religious leader has the power to raise awareness and influence attitude, behavior, and practice. Hence, this can shape our social value. Thank you.
So now I will explain about principles of Islamic leaders. The first one is Ashura. Ashura is a practice that enables employees in a firm to freely participate in decision-making process and to voice their thoughts and concerns without experiencing embarrassment. It is also clear from the Quran that leaders should look for advice from those who are qualified to give it. Second is justice. That means a leader should treat everyone fairly, regardless of race, color of skin, nation of origin, or affiliation with a particular faith. Muslims are urged by the Quran to treat everyone equitably, even those who disagree with them. Justice implementation in a firm may also increase. The fourth one is Masru'iyah. Masru'iyah is a concept of legality where management is expected to ensure that every action taken must be within the parameters of Sharia and common. Okay, now is qualification. In qualification, employees must be chosen by the leaders based on their reliability, moral of character, and suitability for the job. The selection of the employees should not influence by prejudice, self-interest, or any bias. The last one is rewards. In these principles, managers must always act fairly when making choices or paying their employees, and for the employees who get praised for a job well done must receive a reward. So now I will explain about principles of Islamic leaders. The first one is Ashura. Ashura is a practice that enables employees in a firm to freely participate in decision-making process and to voice their thoughts and concerns without experiencing embarrassment. It is also clear from the Quran that leaders should look for advice from those who are qualified to to give it. Second is justice. That means a leader should treat everyone fairly, regardless of race, color of skin, nation of origin, or affiliation with a particular faith. Muslims are urged by the Quran to treat everyone equitably, even those who disagree with them. Justice implementation in a firm may also increase.
Now, I'm going to tell you about Islamic management function. The first one is planning. Planning are one of the practice that has been used since the era of Prophet Muhammad SAW, when he was given the task to preach the faith of Islam to the world. In this time, he need to choose whether to do the task publicly or secretly, since the people of Mecca hold different moral values. Planning in Islam involves setting objectives and goals. Human beings are created to fulfill two goals. The first goal in Islam is long-term goals, which is to become the worthy servant of Allah, to avoid sins and obeying the Quran and Sunnah. The second goal is short-term goals that includes being productive in life, achieving academical achievement, having a stable financial profit, and improvement in life. The next function is organizing. Organizing in Islam includes the structuring of organization, utilizing human resources, authority and power, delegating and decentralization. In this day, we can see most organizational process follow one that were used in the Prophet Muhammad time. One of the example for organizing process in Prophet Muhammad time can be seen in the incident from Mecca to Madinah, where the Muslims went for hijrah to Madinah, and on the night of Prophet Muhammad's departure, the Quraysh men were planning to kill him. However, Ali risked his life by wearing a cloak and lie on Prophet Muhammad's bed, pretending to be him. Without this planning and organizing, Islam won't be what it is today.
The next one, leading. Based on Islamic perspective, define leading as the process of moving people in a direction by motivating them. A leader serves and helps others to get ahead. In other words, the leader need to guide their followers to the right path. For instance, Rasulullah was accepted as an arbitrator among the different communities of city under the term of the Constitution of Medina. Besides that, before his death, Rasulullah had managed to unite most of Arabian Peninsula. The last one, controlling. It is refers to following plan, procedures, and the performance of defined and specific roles under an organization. The basis for control may differ from the conventional approach because mechanisms such as internal or external control, business and personal control must not violate the basis principle of the Sharia. So, when we applying controlling in our organization in Islamic way, we must ensure that we according to the Sharia. For instance, Rasulullah was able to secure control and allegiance of Meccans and Jewish tribes of Madinah after a series of military confrontation and political maneuvers.